Let's see if YouTube's working. Oh, that's not too bad. Okay, the latency is higher, but that doesn't really matter. Damn, yeah, fuck it, I'll just try. Alright. Let's get some music. And we can start with our challenge for the day. Which is not this. Damn, I only have Micromac open right now. Oh. Also have to consider the layout is different, so if I want to see the chat, I just sent that. Yeah. Okay, I'm wasting time. I'm sure it will work fine. So yesterday I managed to create this theme. Oh damn, actually bots might be different here. Yeah, well, it doesn't matter. I just want to see if that changes anything. Can I? Yeah, I'll see. I'll see. Now I want to focus on what's important, and that would be the painting. So yeah, yesterday I managed to turn this into this. That was kind of cool. And today I want to keep it simple, if that means anything. I feel like I say that every time. Keep this one simple. But my idea is to delve a bit down into yeah, the darkness beckons. Oh my god, the delay is crazy. Wait, how crazy? People in chat, damn it. Okay, let's see how crazy it actually is. While I try to get some colors from the previous canvas or image. Man, words at this hour, it's just not a good combo. Oh, that's like a minute delay, damn. Can I change that? I don't think I can change that right now. So that's where Twitch is way faster. Crazy. You'll have to put up with 15 seconds. Yeah, it's still a lot, I guess. But I'm learning. I don't know. Like, I haven't decided what to use yet. Maybe it will be Twitch. Maybe it will be YouTube. I kinda like YouTube more. Like, of course, both companies, both just sort of but I'm more on YouTube. Felt longer. Maybe it's inconsistent, who knows? That would be weird. YouTube spending time. Where was I? Oh yeah, painting thingy gets banned immediately. What, for saying maybe I'll do Twitch or? Actually, I'll just get some water ready, because I can feel I will need it. Staying hydrated and all that. Damn, I just started throwing in colors. I don't even know. Can't criticize the almighty YouTube. I haven't even criticized them. I was like, I think I prefer. I mean, you guys were criticizing with the whole the latency is higher, right? Well, I guess I said companies are always trash. I won't get cancelled. Good night. Okay, so now that the whole streamy, where do we stream, blah 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 is done, I want a bit of an aftermath or something, like a combat after a combat scene. So just the characters standing around. And there's like all this haze, smoke stuff in the air, and they're just standing there menacingly. I'm not sure how much I will show people around them. And destroyed. Yeah, something like that probably. I haven't decided who will be standing there yet. But yeah, I'll just think about like the composition for now. Try to position the character and all that. Like, it would be cool. I don't know, part of me is like, this would look really cool, but it might be super simple to have a super close up thing, like just a character, and I imagine them like adjusting like a mask or something. That could be cool, but I want to show like the destruction also. So maybe I will do some Dutch angle shenanigans. Because the Dutch angle, like, one thing I feel like it does, it expands the space I can work with. And simple doesn't mean wrong. Yeah, that's the point, right? I don't want every like, I mean, these are cool. But if I do that every day, I will just die. And like, there is a lot of merit to try simpler painting. That doesn't mean I will, like, not like it's the execution is that much easier. I think because it has so few elements, it needs to be interesting through just the composition and that sort of stuff. Like the other paintings, they're cool because of their scenery and because of all the stuff that is happening. But with this one I will have to be much more deliberate and specific with like what I'm portraying. That sort of each shape means something. So one thing I was thinking is to have like this lantern post or something maybe that I can just show as clearly broken. And then I need some bodies on the ground, right? I can't be like this was a fight without some bodies. The only question would be where. But the good thing, if I do manage to keep this more on the simple side, I technically have more time to plan. And I already try to work with colors here, right? Like all of this I will in rage mode. Yeah. And something like that, right? The problem is like if I drop all these bodies on the ground, can't be too many. I'm thinking if I manage to place like 3 in the scene, that would be good. Like one might be in the back here. This is such a perspective task again. Already love it. Alright, Alyssa. No, that like a lot of stuff might work, but if she's showing up, there's like there wouldn't be anything messy about it. You'd just be gone. She's really boring in that way. Like one of the tricky things about having these OP characters, but I feel like I wouldn't want to nerf her just to say, look, like it's sort of like, no, I wouldn't even compare her to Gojo. Like I was like, Gojo fighting is like, I think we talked about this, like when Gojo fights the whole city explodes. That's like, we saved the city. But Alyssa isn't even that interested in fighting, so like, bad comparison. But like how her opponents aren't quite on the level of any of like the weird demons or something, so there wouldn't be any destruction on that level. Just not a good comparison that I can think of right now. Like I'm thinking I want a hand here, because if I get a hand here, then that could be like I don't know, and it needs to be curled up though, because like curled forward, that's sort of like it's crawling, and Whatever happened here, these guys aren't crawling anymore. That might have been not sure about the perspective still. But I wanna move on a bit and throw some other people in here. I'm really just guessing, because I don't, weirdly enough, I don't have a lot of visual reference in my mind for how I place these. So in that case, what I should probably do, what would be a lot smarter, video quality is going meh. That's not nice. I can see what you mean. I mean, that's stuff I can't fix right now. I could switch over to Twitch, but I kinda don't wanna. You see as well? Yeah, I've looked at it, like I just saw what you meant. They have a different processing probably. Are you the second viewer? Probably. Probably. Let's try once. Yeah, I would also say I will give it a shot. I mean, I wanna look around, look into it, like maybe I can improve the settings. One thing I would be interested in. Like moderation is a lot easier. I can just delete stuff. Don't have to activate that. Like on Twitch I didn't really find that. Or it took me a few more clicks. So maybe one more hand in front. Delete me. I won't delete you. So now this lamppost, or like this lantern, is a bit awkward in the way. Might move it more in the front. And then I'll add another one here that is also sort of broken. And on the other side there's one that is working, and that implies that this is probably the best maintained street in the Undercity, because it has like three lanterns. Inconceivable. Do you know Inconceivable? There's now an educational stream with quizzes. How would this guy be lying on the ground? Maybe more to the side. Looks off because it's not on the side of the road. Yeah, this like would have to be more more over there probably. But I'm fine with everything. You know the meaning of the word and yeah, but there is like a character in movie history, I'll just say, who's like always inconceivable. This guy can't follow us. He didn't fall. Inconceivable. Yeah, it's from a pretty good movie, actually. Some might say it's the best movie ever made. I may not go that far, but definitely up there. Like, I'm super sure. I haven't done this, but I'm sure if you Google it, you probably will find the character. Let me check that. Let me waste time. Titanic. No. No, you can Google Inconceivable. And then you will discover the name of the movie probably. Hint, it's not, I think there's like also a show coming up that is called like one of the results, at least for me, was like a show called Inconceivable. I don't mean that. I don't know what that is. The Princess Bride. Yep. Bingo. Do you know that one? Don't like the guy in the back. He looks very off. Never heard of it. Damn. I mean, it is an old movie, right? So I think it's not not too strange. I think I also only know it because Peter Falk is like in it, and I think the guy was like a really good actor, and so I think that's sort of how I stumbled. But also I just remembered right now because currently YouTube is reminding me of this film a lot. Like my timeline is just flooded with clips, which I don't complain. I might complain a little because they take up my time. Because I'm always like, I can't skip those. They're just so good. Like you have to check out 2 scenes. I mean, you have to check out the whole movie, honestly. but you have to check out the Battle of Wits. Battle of Wits. So like this scene right here. This is pretty good. And then you have to check out this. This is also pretty good. And then you have to check out the whole movie because it's also pretty good. I have moved my cam and now I'm disappearing behind my mic. I just realized. Yeah. No, but it's a really good movie. Again, kinda old. It's not super like it's the opposite of complicated. It's simple, stupid. Gonna watch it tomorrow perhaps, yeah, and then tell me what you think. I will not tell you anything about it then. But yeah, it's the opposite of a difficult or like complicated movie, but maybe don't watch the scene then actually, right? More fun. I'll just take my time with these shapes. I wanna make it more simple. Anyway, so have time for that. I feel like the street is too narrow though, or like the path is too narrow. Sorry. Like everything's I just took like the first guidelines that I had and kind of slapped the street exactly there. Okay. One thing I do realize is, bless you. Yeah, the delay is crazy, man, but thank you. It's even crazier because now you write that has already long passed, and then you get my response like even even later. Hello, good. So I will go here and I will just apply some color for the street. Now I can maybe move this body around a bit more. Yeah, this was what I was looking for. Because I want to get this character, frame this character well. So I will use a bit of a guidance, grip, grit, not grip, man. I guess, yeah, will take a few billion streams for me to not say random words at times. But so be it. Not sure if this silhouette works. Like if I just think about the composition right now, we have this shape, we have this shape. I don't like the guy on the ground in the back. And this all bleeds together. I'm not sure that I like that either. The hand in front can be more prominent. Or I would want it to be more prominent. But if I do that, then everything else has to be shuffled around a bit more. So maybe this moves more like over there. And I can actually do something that's more interesting. Bleeding together. You are definitely not wrong. And like technically combining shapes is a very good thing. It's just the way that that happened there wasn't really what I was going for. So maybe here we have a bit of a, this guy is like leaning against the place where he was clearly kicked into. And now I will just move you a little. Like if I could get that palm really into view, that would be cool. I might have to skew the perspective a bit more for that. Like I might have to, let me think, where does it have to move? Technically I want this to go up, I think. That's just moving it closer. But I want to look more down. So I somehow need to move this line. Don't quite manage that. I will just do something else actually. I will take this, move the hand over there. This guy follows the space there. And I don't even know how much of the people on the ground we will actually see, because I still want to use quite a lot of smoke in this scene. But like here and there I will show stuff. So now, because I have shifted the scene a little bit, I can reveal the hand here. You are very poetic and like thinking Like this is some cinematic film level stuff. That's the only thing. No, actually, that would be a really cool shot. Please write that down and make a movie where that happens. Because I don't think it will work for this scene. Like, I would have to move the whole. I would have to move it a lot to make that really work the way I imagine it. It is a cool image though. I mean, that's one thing I also wanna improve it, of course. The whole adding more meaning to like everything. No, you know, I will keep it a bit off balance, off grid, that's fine. But I don't know, right now my priorities are more make the painting work on some level, and the rest I will improve or get on the side of each. Yeah, I mean, it's not like they are devoid of story, right? There's always a bit of an idea. I just argue right now it's not that deep, whatever that means. But yeah, there are of course ideas and stuff everywhere. Right. So I might. It's difficult to think about how to approach this exactly. I think first of all, this lantern can be a bit more up, and then we have like these lanterns in the distance. That works well enough, and this one would also be standing. And I think this one, I don't really need that because we can understand. Okay, they are like lanterns. We show enough to understand that this one is broken. Because that's really all I'm looking for, right? I want to establish like a pattern and then show one of them is broken, clearly broken. And we can guess why. Oh, my moth friend has come back. I might just give me a moment. Okay. I have sent them off on its way. Let's see how long it takes to return. I just don't want it to ram its face into my screen while I'm working. Kinda unnerves me. Okay. So the hand I will keep in the in front. And I think now I just wanna get some of the smoke going. So consider how those shapes would be working. Sort of building on what I already have. It doesn't really have to be that detailed. The core thing here is to get a few nice shapes that are adding overlap and that sort of tell the viewer that, hey, air down here might not be the best. It might actually deteriorate your voice, just like my voice is currently falling apart a bit. Don't know why. Yeah, I also might want to obscure our main character a little bit. The tricky thing is to get the balance right. I think what I need to do, and this is like really just okay, me guessing, me trying around, is like the further we are away, the broader the shapes, of course, and also the more they are just like one big color. And when I move in towards the character, then I want there to be like little particles and high contrast between the light. And this is probably also the brightest spot, so like I will take this shape in front here and I will maybe add a bit of a rim light, but I will in general move it away, and only when the shape is facing towards the center will I allow it to add this color, this value. Because that way I hopefully, like, I don't create these arrows, but I create like these shapes that point inward. And that might be a cool effect. I managed that. I'm not sure. That's the theory. Now on to the easy part, the execution. Wow. Composition. Yeah, right. In art school we call that composition. It's great that you have unlocked that 10 billion years into your art journey. I sound so negative. So I wanna... This is so interesting, by the way. Like, this looks like it's brownish. And I mean, it's sort of... Ah! No, I'm sorry. Oh god. That's just a flashbang. My eye. I forgot that Micromech is horrible. Ow. I wanted to say like this color looks crazy different to what it would look like in a more neutral context. Maya. I'm so sorry. You know, especially I was like, oh no, I have to warn you. I can't warn you. So I just sit here like, what have I done? I've pressed the button. The choice was made. You always made it in every timeline. You could never. I could have tried to send you like a message. That would have been so funny. Like, don't look at it. And you're like, what? And then eyes explode. Okay. Going a bit crazy with the shapes right now. I want to get rid of some of them. I think the most tricky thing here is, okay, how exactly do I deal with the ground? Like there's this body here. How do we reveal that? Because we need the smoke trailing over the ground. I might use some lines, so maybe I'll just switch to another layer and consider adding a few lines in between. This is so different from what I've done the other days. Feels very strange. Not necessarily bad though. I don't know, just adding lines in also doesn't feel quite right. I might use some blending tool here and there. Particles, of course. Just a little bit for now. I don't want to overdo it. I just add like noise to the scene. Like one problem that I have right now, of course, is that I've totally erased the street lights. And like there isn't a lot of balance to these, so let me just do something. Let me take them back for a moment and just keep them, but just think about which ones I like. I think I like these because they provide a bit of a frame up front. And they can maybe part more like this. Now in the back I might want to do something like this. Just have these big shapes. I think they also all need to be a little bit offset. Like if they're too equal, then it feels too too unnatural, too mechanical, or too balanced, or all the above. And yeah, right now I'm just looking at this and trying to find shapes that are cool that I've created. And then I will go back in and sort of build up what I have. Or not build up what I have, but like take this as a guideline for the shapes I will actually be using. I think the character, because I want this character to emerge between all the smoke, and I sort of need to show this guy. So maybe like this. Reminds me of home. Damn. But I know what you mean, yeah. Can get pretty bad over there, right? Maybe like that. And then we have these in the back. I'm not sure. One thing that might also work, because I don't think I will draw this guy. Maybe I will just draw a silhouette. Yeah, I'm thinking about that, right? That would be the thing I would love about YouTube. I can maybe keep these VODs and just create videos that way. And if I feel like it, I can, I don't know, make dev diary videos or something on the side. One thing after the other though, right? Maybe like that. Okay, so this one. Creating good flow with these shapes. A very interesting challenge. Maybe like so. Yeah, I think that works. And Okay, so that's where I show the streets of. Now I will just go in and I will actually keep some of this noise. So I won't delete this layer. I will just work over it. And that way I get again a decent layer of visual clutter. Which is ultimately what I want for this. Okay, so we have our front layer, but the hand, don't worry, we'll get to the hand. The hand will stay. It's just not prioritized yet, but it will be in there. Right now I really just try to nail these shapes. As good as I can anyway. I think there's a new friend in my room. Well, as long as it doesn't crash on my screen, I'm good. Okay. So that looks a bit more organized. Now I can again keep these shapes or lines in this case, and I'll just work my character more in. Like they should be here. Yeah, I was like, oh, this is a simple scene. I've already spent so much time on everything again. I want to add a few more shapes that are more square to imply like buildings. That might be, or like, yeah, buildings to the side. And I will move these around how I see fit, and if I need them, like I don't know if I really want them, but they could add a bit more interest again to the scene. Sort of like this. Now I can erase them out. Use a bit of a soft erase. And then they kinda do what they need to do. And that's nice. This one isn't nice. Okay, now in between these shapes I wanna know where my lanterns are. Cause these, some of them can maybe still work. So I just wanna know where their lights would be. And they have this sort of purplish glow going on. But they shouldn't be too reliable or too bright. Like they're really just dots. They're like an excuse. Like, look, we have lighting. Oh, like street lights. Street lights. Everything's good. Hmm. Maybe there's like one more light here. And there might be lights in the back. Just implying these buildings. I'm really working hard not to work on the character right now. So I should probably do that. Because I'm just procrastinating at this point. So how would I want to do this? Not super sure. I think I'll actually take a bit of time, create some lines. Do I want this to be, but if I want, no, I'll think we'll add someone new today. Have to think a lot about the pose. What would their arms be doing? Like maybe they're just looking. None from the crew. No, someone from the crew, but I haven't drawn them. I haven't drawn them. Like in this challenge thing, I suppose. Yeah, though maybe not monstrous. Something that I could try. I don't really have the space right now. I might add some implied like claw marks somewhere. Mm-hmm. It's fantasy one day. Oh, that's tricky. That will be for a later point. Also, the thing like with that scene, I mean, I can show her more in the lab or something, but I don't think that scene is visually all that interesting to me. Because in a way, she's just they're just in a room and they chat, and that's about it. I mean, yeah, there's more technically, but all in all, not much. I'm trying to think how they would stand here. Like, I feel like they could also move this arm over and have more of a one hand on their shoulder. The thing with this whole scene though is like they don't really need, I mean, I don't know what exactly happened here, but like lore wise it's very unlikely that they actually ever, while in the city, ever transformed into like the monster thingy. Because like why would they? Why would they? Just such a hassle. And there's not really, like, I don't think there is much competition in the underground. But we don't know. Who knows? Maybe bad day or something. We all have those. I really need to consider the posing of this arm. Breaking my painting. Hello. Okay, that's kinda nice. Like, story-wise, or from what I've planned for the story, I think the first time that transformation actually comes up is like at the end of this whole arc where they hang around in Sangrara. And like it's essentially because of an encounter with like Aldrich. And everything else that happens before that, like there are difficult encounters and blah 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 blah. Technically in there. But like they're all not enough to really push them this far or warrant anything. And even with Aldrich, it's not like, if I remember correctly, it's not about like, oh, there's a difficult fight or anything. That doesn't really trigger that. It's more of a lol, I just nuked the city situation, and they're like, you did what? You did what? And then they angry. They do be angry then. So yeah, but that doesn't matter for the painting, right? We can just say ignore it. Spoiler? No, it's not a spoiler. It's not a spoiler because it might change. Like, the thing with Eclipse right now is because it's so age old, long in development, has gone through so many phases and stages already. There isn't really a this is how it will be. I mean, I guess you now know that there is an idea, but that might as well never happen. I don't know. Because again, it's difficult. I'm not entirely sure where I want to take the story into, like, in as a whole. I feel like it's one of those things where back when I came up with it, it had like all these ideas of like, oh, I'm gonna make it political and I'm gonna it has like a point to it, and everything is sort of like smart and blah, 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 blah. But I wasn't that smart, right? Because I was like I mean, I'm still not smart, but I am now a little more aware of how not smart I am. And so I'm like, you know, all the ideas I had, they're not that interesting. So I don't want to do them. And one of the things I'm afraid of with the story is that will just keep happening. If I don't find another approach to it. Because ideally, I will keep learning and keep being smarter about things and reflect on my beliefs and my ideas. You should just start writing, yeah, and then I will never finish Dancing Embers. No, that's the thing. I will go and finish Dancing Embers in like 10 years. Don't worry, it will happen sooner. It will, I promise. Well, don't promise stuff. I want it to be done sooner. Like maybe I don't know. I don't want to talk about deadlines with that sort of stuff. I don't. It's not that set in stone. But yeah, I will. Once I'm done with Dancing Embers, I just wanna move on to Eclipse and hope that I'm good enough by then. Because that was my main reason not to start writing Eclipse, actually. I just felt I was too bad at writing. So I needed a project to practice. And that's where Dancing Embers sort of came in. And I mean, worked kinda well. I understand where my weaknesses are, I work on them. But I mean, you're always learning, right? So, but I didn't want Eclipse to be my first story. I have a bit of a over emotional investment in some of these characters. All three books in 10 years. Sorry, I didn't look at chat while rambling to myself. Like ideally, I mean, is it feasible to get one book done this year? No, probably not this year. I mean, it depends. If I manage to really sit down, do some planning. But like next year, at like summer next year, I kinda need to be done with book 1. You wanna finish all 3 Dancing Ember books before starting Eclipse? Yeah, I think. I'm not sure, but I think I wanna do that. I might also realize well, no, I think that's the plan right now. Dancing Embers will really just be testing grounds for what Eclipse will be. That sounds like, oh, I don't care about Dancing Embers. That's obviously not true. That's kind of part of the problem. Like I initially was like, okay, let's just start writing, write. And then of course I grew super attached to everything in that story as well. And then I slowed down more and more because I was like, need to make stuff make sense and make it smart and whatnot. I think especially this whole make it smart, that weighs me down so much. Because I'm not that smart. But I don't know. I like smart stories, so I want to write smart stories. But there isn't a Here's how you write a smart story, right? But that's also why I like something I do hate and enjoy a lot right now is I feel like writing tip videos are useless to me. Because I've sort of heard every writing tip like 5 times. And it just means that from here on it's really just writing and making mistakes and like all the core wisdom is sort of there. And might be wrong, like there's probably still a lot of stuff I don't know, of course. But like the conventional and standard stuff, that is sort of that I have sort of internalized, which probably is not a bad thing. But it's also so crazy, like that's one of the I had this idea of, oh, maybe I can also make content about like writing and game making and that sort of stuff, because I liked watching that sort of content, and I mean I still do. But I can't shake off this feeling that there is this crazy repetitiveness to all of it. And I think it's being like not necessarily people are catching up in terms of like, oh, this is collapsing or something. But more in terms of like there is this whole debate going on right now if video essays are dead and if like writing content is no longer really monetizable or like stuff in that direction. Like I see a lot of creators talk about how it's getting more and more difficult. And like my perspective as someone who has just like watched all this content is just like, yeah, because eventually you can't just make another like 5 tips on video, you know. Eventually you've revealed every tip and everyone knows every tip, and then the internet wants different things. So what do you do? What do you do? I do wonder if people like get bored or burned out of just watching like TikTok videos, or like if people can get tired of a certain format. That is kind of a question that I am thinking about. Like I don't really have a way of seeing that it is something that is happening, but you know, I can sort of imagine it. And again, something like TikTok is pretty good at keeping your attention. So they might not have to worry for another 5,000 years. Super spiky hair here. think though, by the way, this is like much more what I like to talk about while drawing. Like not necessarily the painting itself. I mean, I can talk about the painting, but it's sort of the same thing. I can only say so much about the process before I just start repeating everything that I've said. Like, okay, I'm going in here and I'm drawing in the shapes, and I try to use some outlines for my character right now because I think it looks interesting. But eventually I'll be like, okay, now I draw this shape, now I draw this shape. That's like, that's not good commentary, I think. Though I know that like when I was getting started, I was like, please, I need to find like an artist who essentially narrates every brush stroke. Cause I thought like maybe then I understand what's going on. Maybe then I unlock the secret. Cause it was always, I was like, people were just drawing shapes and then they had a painting and I was like, huh? What happened? Slow down a bit. Still feel like that a lot of time, but I now realize that even if they slow down and explain it to me, I will be like, this is crazy. Might not need the mouth. I will leave it for now. What are you doing right now? What are you up to? And paper. Nice. Does it come along, or are you like struggling? Actually deleting this shape here. Traits for size, that sound cool. That's a difficult one. Because you know what you're doing right now is you're asking me, can you please do like two creative thought processes that are not really connected at the same time. Might still try. What could work? Like for a cipher trait, so like effect traits, right? Like my mind is really blanking right now. Right, sorry for asking. No, it's fine. It's just difficult for me to do, actually, I realize. Because like my mind currently is working on overdrive to figure out what the hell is happening with this hand and stuff. I think like one thing I probably have to ask questions like, what's the system like right now? What words are you looking for? Are you looking for very short words? More long and elaborate ones? Is the system dark? Maybe if I have a little bit more input, I can actually help. No guarantee, but usually more information yields better results. Harvest. Like harvest. I mean, you have a few there, right? Bare bones still. Yeah, I mean, it's all about really figuring out what kind of vibe you want to go for. Because the words you use obviously influence how your system reads. Something that I do, I don't know if you are doing that already. I just Google the word and like use Google Translate, for example, and just look at the different words that come up. Looking for inspiration, anything goes. Something that would just apply to a scythe. I don't know, cause like a lot of stuff that comes to mind for me is like very generic right now. And it's kinda to be expected, just because again my thoughts are occupied by this thing. Generic is absolutely okay. But you know, you could like also go for stuff like stylish, two-handed, sweeping. Frightening, maybe even if you say, oh, this weapon is like scary to people, because like who runs around with a scythe, man? You have to be weird for that. Maiming, maybe. There we go, some pretty good stuff. Well, thank you, I suppose. I focused too much on the line here. I'll just create a bit of the line here. Or the shadow, not the line. Maiming, yes, maiming. I think that's the, like, oh, you can cut the limbs and stuff. You already had like stuff like lethal and, you know, or lethality. Will work, thanks. No problem. So we can delete the character beneath here. Now I can throw in more colors. I've spent so much time on this guy for so little. Like, I was idling for a bit there. I need to up my pace now. Just a little bit. So this guy will be a silhouette. Oh, do you want a bit of a spoiler? In existence as well, yeah. Do you want a bit of a spoiler for what I'm planning for D&D tomorrow? Yeah. Spoiler. Yeah, I mean, so essentially, I will reveal to the players the archetype cards I've created, right? So they can choose their archetypes finally. And then after they've gone like through that whole thing, like, it will be a bit spooky. Like, they will find sort of an abandoned camp, like from other adventurers or something like that, it will look like. And then they will get their powers there. But then I will try to get them to move over to the town, like to Barovia. And there I won't let them enter because one of the players is missing right now. Like, one of them is not in the country right now. And so I don't want them to necessarily enter the town just yet. Because I'd like for everyone to be there when the main plot kicks in. Or like the first main plot. No, I already told them that. Like, I was like, okay, then I will delay you a bit if that's okay. I try to be open about that sort of stuff. Increases the chance of the diversion. What does the missing player do at the table? You mean outside of playing? And I don't know. Don't quite understand that question. Sorry. No, they don't play. They don't play. That's why I said I don't want them to enter the town, because they are not joining in, probably. Like, I will write them some stuff during the session, probably. Ask, like, how would your character react to this and that, maybe. But yeah, I won't. They won't attend, essentially. And so that's why I said, okay, I don't want you guys to start the whole, like, the storyline just yet. That's why I'm doing the whole delaying thing. Let's see. Yes. Yeah, but yeah, I will send them to the town. There will be like a guy at the gate who will sort of tell them, like, nice that you want to enter and stuff, but nope. Just no. And but they will be able to see, because he's at the gate and guarding the gate and blah blah blah. But the gate currently is sort of broken, because someone threw like a heavy boulder at it, a big ass stone. And so the players can, or I will guide the players to investigate that. And that will lead them into the forest. And then I have like a brief encounter in the forest with a giant. Not like a super large giant, but there are like these giants in my strat setting that sort of live in Barovia, and they are more or less in hiding. And yeah, then maybe either they have like a, depending how the encounter with that guy goes, they have a fight or they just chat and probably leave. But they will basically just learn that this guy will be trouble in the future if they choose to side with the town in a certain way. Like, it doesn't really matter how they side with, or well, if they want to help the town, sort of, then the guy will be probably will be trouble. Because he doesn't like the town at the moment very much. But yeah, that way I will get a bit of a delay in there. That's the plan, at least. If they do enter the town, I have endless way of stalling them still. Because I can just throw whatever I want to throw at them in the town. But ideally I want to, you know, to keep the town a bit of a secret. Like, oh, what's behind those walls? We can only see a little bit what's going on there. And then I have like this bit of reveal next time when everyone's there. I'm looking forward to that. I like my reveals. Yeah, what I thought was important about the whole delaying the players, I don't want to just delay them and be like, yeah, whatever you do this session is kind of just a waiting mode thing. I still want them to make progress, just like progress that will not help them at this point in the story, but maybe at another point. I'll give them some insight and understanding about the world. Yeah, game design. It is. Essentially, it's just, right, like running pen and papers, man. It's really just game design. It's so funny. Have continued reading The Elusive Shift, like the book on the history of D&D and stuff, sort of. And like the people back then, right? They were working through all these design problems that we well, I say we, that like pen and paper designers sort of understand and know a bit more about these days. Still don't know how to fix them all the time, but like I was so surprised how many things just existed even before D&D, sort of, just from the first second that some of these things were created. And immediately people were like, well, how do you deal with like these sort of choices? How do you deal with like the player agency? How do you deal with the dynamic between the referee and the players? Should stuff be more rule heavy? There was always the question of like, should you be in character, or is power play okay, like where you use meta knowledge? Nothing's new, that's all I'm saying. And like, yeah, all these people, they like, the book outright states everyone essentially was just the only thing that separated these referees that made rules, like extensive home rules and improvements for the games they were playing, the only thing that separated them from being game designers was publishing essentially their rules, which they often did, because back then there were like all these fan signs, and like the games got super popular because they were these active communities before the internet, right? They had like their magazines and everything. Reddit before Reddit, right? And so if you publish your system in one of those signs, then congrats, you are now a designer. And what's also interesting, something I didn't really realize technically, so history-wise, D&D was created as a today still possible? You mean create your system or your rules, and yeah, that is still possible. It's I'm not sure, right? I haven't done it. I think one you can get into these spaces still, right? A lot easier actually because of the internet. I just think the main difference between back then and now is information flood. Like, do you really have staying power with all the information that is out there? But you can do it, and there are quite a lot of folks, I believe, or like I bet there are a bunch of game designers who started out doing like rule supplements for stuff and then got noticed that way. I don't think that changed a lot. But like, it was always like that, sort of, right? Like, even more so back then though, because again, these games weren't finished. They were all incomplete and just like ideas. And it's so fascinating because there is this whole section that I'm reading now about how there was this Western game, essentially, like you were playing like cowboys and stuff and outlaws in the wild west. And the creators were like, yeah, this is so interesting, because it was a war game, it wasn't a role-playing game. Like, the entire point of the book is like, when did that happen, that people started calling a game a role-playing game? Because D&D didn't. D&D was initially wasn't like, oh, we're a role-playing game. D&D was a war game. And most other games also were war games. And like this Western game was a miniature war game where they were like, okay, so now you only have one character, and you the thing that was crazy about it, like a few of the things that were crazy about it, but one idea that was crazy about it was, your goal isn't to win the encounter. Your goal is, whatever. There are like a few things that you can do, but the main goal at the table is to inhabit your character and play out these sort of movie scenes. And you can like win the game without fighting, and then it's like, and when you like finish a game, then maybe the next game you will take the same characters and you will put them in like a new encounter and sort of continue their story. Right, these ideas cropped up, and the creators were like writing about how interesting that is, and how cool it is to inhabit a character, and what a unique new perspective that opens up on the wargaming uh, uh, genre or like field, right? But it was all, they were like, no one was saying this is a role-playing game. Everyone was like, this is a new exciting form for the war game, to experience war games in a more like narrative focused fashion or something. And like they're talking about character stats and all that stuff, and XP points, and but they don't call it that, right? And that's so funny, because you read that and it's like, damn, different times, none of that existed yet. But they were working through a lot of the problems that designers are still facing them. Yeah. Yo, that's so cool. Yeah, it is. It is. I also think it's really cool. Mm-hmm. 2 hours approaching. I know. I don't stress too much about it. No use. Oh. Oh, and there was like one thing that I thought was funny. Gary Gygax, like the guy who co-created D&D or co-wrote D&D. He was clearly more like war game guy and wanted the whole thing to stay a war game. But one thing that he wrote was like, yeah, it's important that people take the rules and change them, sort of. Like, and I think he wrote something like the moment that every table sort of uses the same rules, that's when the game is sort of dead to him or boring. Like, that's not something that he would wanna pursue, which I thought was interesting as a perspective. But it makes sense, right? Again, because these people already didn't work out too well. Yeah, right? Because the dang sci-fi. Well, no, that's not even true, right? I wanted to say because the dang sci-fi people got their hands of it, but turns out the people who actually invented the role-playing aspects, the people who did invent that were just wargamers who were like, wouldn't it be cool if every little character you have has a background and has a stat that affects like their effectiveness, and now you also write a backstory because that would be cute, and then maybe we size it down to just one, and now you have to make decisions on what your one guy is doing, and maybe they don't even need to fight, like maybe there's, or maybe they aren't even a soldier, maybe they're just like a guy dragged into the scenario. So crazy how all of that developed. Hmm. Cause yeah, they just, again, the most fun part of it is just reading through it and being like, and that's where we sort of, so that's sort of the first time someone mentions character abilities or stats or whatnot. Like the whole debate about rules light versus rules heavy games, that goes all the way back to, I'm not sure, I think it was like the 1900s, because back then they had like these, you know, these games were more for simulating warfare and like as training tools for officers of like armies. But is it a video or a book? It's a book. It's called The Elusive Shift by John Peterson. And if you want like the short form and don't want to read it, you can Google Matt Colville, The Elusive Shift, and I believe then you will get, well, you will get Matt Colville's perspective and summary on it. That's how I found out about the book, why I decided to pick it up. I mean, the funny thing is that Matt Colville, like when he talked about it, I think a lot of it was like, oh yeah, and then we discovered this and that, because he yeah, he was part of that scene back then, right? Part of the kids that played it, the early D&D. Don't think he started with first edition though, but might have, I'm not sure. Ba-ba-bum. That might work. I'm trying to figure out where like light would come from. And I imagine that there is like one lantern in front bookmarked. Nice. Very good. I'm doing some educational work here. Yeah, but it is a really interesting read so far. I had put it on pause for a little bit, as I always do with stuff I do. But I hope that I'll find the time to just push through it now. Might actually use a few more. May I rest? Man, it's like 1. This isn't even... No, of course. Of course you may rest. I will keep rendering for a bit. See where this will go. But you sort of get the picture here, right? Like, I think the main idea is there. And this was a bit of an attempt to make something different today. Can't say if I succeeded. Looks kinda interesting. Thank you, and have a good night. I'll just finish the hand. Then it works perfect. Don't forget the bodies. Well, that's the thing, they won't be that complicated. Like, I will add some detail to this guy and the hand. And that's it. Good night. Oh. Very strange hand. But that's okay. Um, oh. Nah, that's too extreme. Yeah, that feels a bit better. A bit more where I'm going. Quite sure where I'm going myself. So, for what it's worth, I think this is. Might just add a little bit more color. Oh. So now I can hide this hand and smoke a bit more. Just use liquify on the thumb. The shape doesn't really work with liquify. Pro never translated super well. But that's why we paint a little bit more. Just to try and make it work. Okay, we can just say that looks kinda dead. So now I can go to this body and like add a bit more color on top. Yeah, more like this. Oh, and I don't want it to be bogged down. A tricky thing actually is to sell that they were armed, not just some random people. Mhm. Maybe I'll liquefy a bit more. It's streamer. Oh, where was I? All right. Right. And we're reaching the end here. Just adding a few more shadows to the side areas. Mm. Oh. I was thinking of adding a bit more sheen up here to like the light, get more of get a few more particles in there. And maybe up there. It's kind of distant, but there is like maybe the elevator in the back. And we can sort of infer that that would be the elevator, or like an elevator. Maybe it's not the elevator, but we sort of get the same structure. And we sort of understand that there's this circle. Yeah, might work, might work. But yeah, that's more distant. But it is a bit of a different color all the way up there. Meanwhile down here it's all purple and beige, because I only do beige apparently. Now I realize I just didn't make them pale enough really. So I will just add a bit more. Bit more paleness by saying which layer would work best. Yeah, sort of like that. I think that's much better. And now I go and add this. I don't really need to understand the power. Like, this is just okay. They are probably kind of strong or have something going on that makes them. Maybe they are just physically strong. I don't need to answer that in this painting. I don't think so, at least. Other than that though, I'd like to add a few more shapes down here maybe, because what's going on up here I like this is kinda working for me. Even the super dark. That's a bit much. I think the one eye is good. I might also do like, I don't think the ring reads that well, so I will keep it at the full eye, even though the ring would probably be more accurate. The hand works well enough, so I will keep that. And then they have that going on. And there's maybe a bit of a glow around them. That is sort of invisible though. Because these particles are just everywhere. I could make them their color, so then you understand very well that they're... actually I might do just that. And then I can sort of add more particles throughout the scene. I'll have to be somewhat careful with that though. Like if I overdo it, it becomes a bit too distracting. Like so, I think it's all good. And then like vestiges of their power just fading. Maybe I can add a bit of a rifle that is broken. I don't think I have the... Like that might just be a bit too much. Yeah, no. We don't need to know who exactly they were fighting or encountering here. There might be more people though. I think that could be drama. If there are like more still waiting. Like the threat isn't quite over. So maybe these people are considering their option. Or chances. Yeah, I think I like that more. Now there is more a bit more activeness in this, or more activity. I mean, I was thinking about making it an aftermath, and it's still that primarily, but it's not quite done, and so there's still some tension lingering. Which makes it more interesting. Maybe this guy even has a gun. Why not? Why not? Yeah, it worked that well. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, wait, why isn't it? Oh, this is better. And I think I will remove these lines. Nice. do believe that concludes this one. Like, the idea is pretty much all there. And I don't really see pushing it much further beyond that. Then I'll just add a bit of like atmospheric light. This, and maybe we can even add some glow to these to imply that there's something more magic-y going on here. It's like every silhouette has a knife. Bring it. Bring all your silhouettes with knives. Maybe we can add a bit of a slashing wound. To like sell the drama of the scene more. Like, yep, that looks like it probably wasn't too pleasant. They haven't gone through this super unscathed, actually. I like that. Shows that they can actually get hurt. Mm-hmm. course, because I added like the layer in front, I can't simply paint over there now. But it's okay. Might throw in these. Just as a bit of an acknowledgement. Right, and then we'll just add a bit more atmospheric distortion to it. Or not distortion, but like shift. Now we can break up the shapes a bit, add like little details here and there. Might not read that well, but they are just to have some fun before I finish this off. Because the painting is basically done at this point. Alright, so this knife needs to be larger. And now I can actually, I will pull back on some of these particles. I feel like they are not necessarily overkill. I will add some of them back in, but like of a different size. And yeah, I think this should conclude it. This should conclude it for realsies now. Overall an interesting scene, interesting approach, different to the others. But I still managed to throw in quite a lot more complexity than initially planned. So yeah, quite happy with it.